Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Let's get straight to the point. No beating around the bush. I think Scopper Gabon has been waiting for this moment since the first chapter of One Piece. Seriously. Oda planted his name back in Chapter 19, among those mysterious silhouettes of Roger's crew, and Gabon has always been that character people kind of ignored because, well, he was there but didn't really do anything. Then, out of nowhere, in Chapter 1151, we find out that the YA, who'd been around in the chaos of Elbaf this whole time, was him. And not only that, the guy straight up says he was the second strongest in Roger's crew, and he says it with such confidence that you can't doubt him. Like, no shadow of a doubt. He looks everyone in the eye and says, "Oh, Rayleigh was the first mate, fine. But when it comes to strength, I was the one holding things down." And that's where the theory starts. If he really was the second strongest, that changes a lot. Because it means Roger didn't just rely on Rayleigh as his right-hand man, but also on a guy who had never been mentioned with that level of importance before. And remember, Rayleigh taught Luffy everything he knew, right? We saw in Marineford, and then during the time skip, that Rayleigh is basically the wise mentor to the protagonist. But if Luffy now needs to evolve even further, like face off against Emu, figure out what this insane hockey that's being unleashed in Elbaf is all about, confront the end of the world, who knows? Maybe just Rayleigh isn't enough anymore. Maybe, who knows, Gabon has a totally different fighting style. What if he's like a master of the northern stream or something, with a type of hockey that combines sound, wind, senses, and he uses all of that with crazy precision, like a musician who knows exactly which note will break a wall, because his design really looks like a guitarist or even a tribal warrior. I think Oda kept him around for this very reason. He has knowledge that no one else has. Maybe it was even something Roger trusted him with for some more emotional reason, like, if I don't come back one day, train whoever will replace me. And now, Luffy's closer than ever to being Roger's successor. He already has the fruit the world government fears most. He's got Gear 5, which basically turns him into a being of pure freedom, the kind that laughs even when he's taking a beating. And even with all that, when he feels Imu's hockey approaching, he stops and says, "Now I get it." So then that's it. I think this moment of understanding isn't about power. It's about inheriting the will. Like, now that he's on the same level of perception as Roger, he's going to start seeing the world the way the former Pirate King saw it. And if that's the case, what better way for him to be trained than by someone who was right there beside Roger the whole time, but never appeared on stage because maybe Oda wanted to save that card for the right moment, and the moment has come. In Elbaf, everything's falling apart. The giants are being turned into demonic creatures. Children's nightmares are turning into real monsters. And Imu is basically shooting Conqueror's hockey like it's a laser beam. There's so much power going around. And even with the freedom of Gear 5, maybe Luffy still needs something more. It's not just about getting stronger. It's about understanding what's happening in the world. And Gabon, I think he's the key to that. You know why? Because if he was the second strongest in Roger's crew, he saw the Void Century. He probably stepped foot on Laugh Tale. He knows what Roger discovered and why the world is the way it is. Maybe he promised Roger he'd never interfere, but when he sees the will of D burning in Luffy's eyes, he changes his mind. And then, boom, the training begins. Imagine a scene where Gabon takes Luffy to some hidden corner of Elbaf, or even to a dimension of hockey that only the most experienced can access. Like a spiritual plane where Luffy sees echoes of the ancient era, feels the wills of those who died trying to change the world. And Gabon says, you're almost there, but to reach the top, you're going to have to understand more than just punching with rubber. You're going to have to understand the heart of the world. I think this training will have fewer punches and more control. It'll be the moment when Luffy learns to truly listen to everything around him, maybe even understand hockey in a way no one else has. And maybe Gabon will teach him a new form of hockey, like a heart hockey or freedom hockey, something that resonates with the sound of the world, with the voices Luffy's been hearing since Skypiea. Because, you know, since then he's been hearing voices from things that shouldn't have voices. The Sea Kings, the giant elephants, even the ancient weapons. Maybe all of that was preparing him for this moment. And here's the craziest part. Maybe Gabon knows how to use hockey in harmony with the sound of the world, like a technique that only someone who traveled with Roger could develop. Maybe Roger and he created it together, because Roger's laugh, Luffy's laugh, Joy Boy's laugh, they all seem to follow a pattern. Laughing when everything seems lost, laughing when no one else believes. That's freedom, that's music. And maybe Gabon is the master of the world's music, the one who understands that the sound of freedom is what really breaks chains. So yeah, I think Luffy will train with Gabon, not because he needs to get physically stronger, but because he needs to prepare for the final phase of his journey. He needs to understand what the world really needs. And for that, he'll need a mentor who brings not just strength, but wisdom. A mentor who witnessed the end of Roger's journey and chose to wait until someone with the same spark in their eyes showed up. And now that person has arrived. Gabon knows the time has come. Time to pass the torch. Time to teach the true sound of freedom. When Gabon says in chapter 1151 that he was the second strongest in Roger's crew, he's not saying it to make an impact or show off. He's saying it as someone who's been quiet all this time because no one was ready. And I think that's exactly it. The world of One Piece was waiting for Luffy to be ready so Gabon could come out of the shadows too. Because let's face it, being the second strongest in a crew like the Pirate Kings isn't a small deal. The guy shared a deck with Gold Roger himself and still stood out among beasts like Rayleigh, Shanks, Buggy, okay, he's special, Odin, and so many other monsters. Now think about it. Luffy already trained with Rayleigh, came out of that training with haki flowing everywhere, learned to hear voices, feel intentions, and dodge without seeing. Then, in Wano, he faced Kaido, unlocked advanced Conqueror's haki, used Gear 5, and basically became a rubber god. But Oda isn't bringing Gabon into this phase of the story to say, congrats, Luffy, you're already strong. Number Gabon is here because Luffy still needs something more. And if he's going to train now, it has to be something no one in the current world understands. Only someone from Roger's time could teach it. I think Gabon is that person. Imagine that this training is going to be different. Instead of just sparring and throwing punches, it's almost like a spiritual study where Luffy will start to connect all the pieces he's picked up since leaving East Blue. He'll remember the sound he heard in Skypia, the giant elephant in Zoo, Shirahoshi as Poseidon, the ancient weapon that can hear voices. And then he'll realize that there's a pattern to all of it. Maybe Gabon will tell him something like, you don't have to defeat Imu with strength. You have to make the world hear the truth. And that's where this haki I think Gabon will teach comes in, the haki of harmony. Something that unites the voice of all things, the Conqueror's haki, and even Joy Boy's laughter, into an energy that could free the whole world once and for all. Maybe this haki works like total synchronization. Luffy will start fighting not with fury, but in tune with the hearts of those around him. Like, if an ally believes in him, his haki amplifies it. If an enemy wavers emotionally, he'll feel it and hit straight at their weakness. This leaves room for some insane moments, like Luffy fighting in the middle of chaos and saying, I can hear all of you. Then he dodges an attack from behind, clashes with a demonic creature, and still manages to laugh through it all. It's like Gabon is teaching him how to turn freedom into raw power without losing who he is. A true Joy Boy, a guy who fights laughing because he knows he's fighting for the right cause. At this point, Gabon might tell stories from the past that will keep Luffy even more focused. What if he says, Roger used to laugh like this, but he couldn't finish everything? And Luffy, in his own way, will understand that laughing isn't escaping, it's resisting. And maybe laughter is the greatest weapon against a world that tries to silence everything with fear, censorship, and secrecy. I think that's the kind of thing only someone like Gabon, who lived through it, could explain with real weight. The guy's experience holds everything Luffy needs right now. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.